Hello everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. So I'm going to through how I was able to use a way to buy Bitcoin, get it into a virtual wallet, and then get it transferred over into an exchange like Binance. So the first thing you have to do in my case is there is a service here in Canada, I don't know exactly where, but in Canada, Ontario, Quebec, what I did was I looked for a ATM, and basically the instructions are this: you go to the ATM, you feed it $20, in my case Canadian, and then what will happen is, well, first before you do that, you need to get one of these three wallets on your phone. So when you do that, in my case, I went and got Coinami, and I'll tell you what you do with that in a minute. What you do is you go to your ATM, okay, and then all you got to do is, here is the bank, the ATM, the automated teller machine. So what you do is you follow the instructions on the screen, and what it'll do is it'll ask you what you want to buy. So you put, let's say, Bitcoin. And then from there, you got to put your QR code, which is from this app, your wallet app, in my case, Coinami. And I'll tell you, I'll go into more detail on that in a minute, as I said. And all you got to do is hold up the phone against this part with the QR code, so that the ATM knows where to send the Bitcoin to on your phone to the digital wallet through the QR code. You might be asking, what's a QR code? Well, your phone, Android or iOS, don't matter. It looks like these things. So you got to know how to get those up and scan it on your phone, and then point it to this little black area. And then what it'll do is you feed in the money, your cash, and then it knows exactly where to send the Bitcoin, in that case, to. And from there, it'll eventually make it into your wallet. For me, it took less than not even 5 minutes, and you enter in your phone or a email. Now, the less you work with the phone, the better, because then if the government decides to crack down on this company to find out all the transactions, they could do that via your phone. Whereas if you use a throwaway email, which is part of the instructions here, there's nowhere to trace. So if you are trying to figure out how to avoid all the government tracing and having to give up your photo ID and all that, you can do this anonymously, but you can use an email address, which is then a throwaway, and then the ATM will then send probably a digital code to the email. So these are, as I say, 100% anonymous. But I wouldn't be surprised, no different than how, in my case, the Canadian government, CRA, the tax authority, just clamped down on PayPal, went to court for 3 years, and eventually got everything they wanted on PayPal through a court order. I'm sure this company will go through the same thing. They'll be able to get all the transactions through your phone and be able to trace it back through that. So again, if you do need to, you can use, as I said, some form of a throwaway email. I don't know, Proton Mail is a service that you could probably try. So this is a way to do it. So as I said, there's three options here in your wallet. Here you'll notice that there's Samurai, which is Android only. For me, I am iOS. Not only that, but with Coinami, you have the support of, in this case, this company that you can buy Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Ethereum. And from there, you can get your Bitcoin, your cryptocurrency, transferred into this digital wallet. So in my case, if I look up, do a Google search for iOS Coinami, it will bring up the description of the app. So where can I find iOS? Maybe it's on the iOS app. Search here. There's Apple. Let me just put Apple here. It should come up. There we go. Okay, so here's the app. It's fairly new, I believe, for iPhone. And how it works is in the app, it will automatically transfer once the wallet has been scanned by the ATM. It'll automatically transfer over the amount to this wallet as because you scanned it. And here's the caveat with all this whole set of thing. This company, they say they charge 6%, which is pretty hefty if you're dealing with a lot of money in the hundreds, let's say. It actually ends up, in my case, was pretty close to 10%, so it's very hefty. I just want to try this out, and it works really pretty well. So now we have Bitcoin. So I had $20 went to 17.00717 Bitcoin, something like that. And this is how it works. Is now you have, let me pull up the description here. I think this is quite useful. See, here it is. Your private keys never leave your device. Strong wallet encryption, cryptography guarantee that your funds will remain safe. I would never trust that by that statement. But if you don't want to use the ledger one, as here, this is a virtual way to do it. Here's the big thing I love about it for this Coinami. Know your customer bureaucracy, which is what I was getting with Coinbase, which ticked me off because I had less things I have to submit. Photo ID, phone numbers, forget it. Not with the Facebook BS we went through with that Cambridge Analytica. No IP association, no identity linking, no transaction. Our servers anonymize your request by hiding your IP from prying eyes. So that's good. And as a result, supposedly it's safe. But please always remember, just use small, tiny amounts that you may be able to afford to lose. Don't put your life savings through this. And of course, I'm not here to say, oh yeah, do this to avoid taxes, because I think the transaction fees alone will eat up what you typically pay in taxes anyway. So there's really no advantages with this in that way. So that's basically how it works to get cash in my area, Ontario, into a Bitcoin on a digital wallet. So this is how I did it. Now, the cool thing is that with the Coinami app, you have the ability to receive cash, and then in there you have the ability to then be able to get the QR code for that wallet, and that's helpful. But then what we have to deal with is Binance. So Binance is interesting. I really think I've been through this whole spiel as opposed to a traditional Forex broker, let's say. I feel safer going this way than I do going through a Forex broker. There's a lot of reasons why. Now, this is from the Binance side, from the exchange, so that you can actually transfer your Bitcoin or crypto, whatever it is, into, let's say, Binance, which I use at this point because it is the largest exchange out there out of China. I think it's Taiwan or China. But don't let that scare you, because I was quite impressed with how this works. So this is how we do things. So what we're going to do is this article here on chainbits.com is going to walk you through, and the name of the article is How to Use Binance Exchange Complete Guide. So this will walk you through the funding deposit of your Bitcoin, in my case, into Binance. So it's just a couple of things how it works. You log in, and then you have to activate your account. Obviously, you send your like a typical way. You get an email, set up a password. Now, if you ask me, I would not be using a Gmail account. I'd be using a very secure email. If you don't have access to your own server, one I would recommend is Proton Mail to stay anonymous. And this company is based out of Switzerland, and they keep your email private. You do have to pay for it. It's a couple of bucks a month, like $10 or something. But this is a way that you will not get hacked and cannot be traced. Okay, so I'd use something like that. So that's level number one, security-wise. Level two is they'll want you to set up a 2FA, two-factor authentication. They're going to do it through SMS or Google Authenticator authentication, which is called the Google Authenticator app. And I would not give up your phone at all through SMS to identify yourself. If you can, try to go with this Google Authenticator. And let me just show you. My case, again, I'm Apple iOS. So if you look for Google Authenticator, the app, I'll walk you through that. And basically what it does, it enables you to synchronize a service, which is in this case Binance, be able to synchronize to the service, Google Authenticator, and then every time you log in or do something to change something in your account with Binance, you have to log into this authenticator, and whatever number is showing on at that time, you have to log in and put that into Binance as another layer of security to synchronize that it's you and it's on your phone. So this is another way to secure your phone and your account on Binance. Brokers don't do this, and I think it's quite ingenious. And it's pretty hassle-free, to be honest. I was kind of surprised how easy it was. So let me just see where I can find my. Oh, here we go. Okay, so what they will tell you is that you have to strongly recommend to use 2FA. In this case, it's Google Authentication. Once you go through that, again, I didn't do this, but when you're on Binance, what you'll have to be aware of, in my case, here's my Binance account, no big deal. But if you go back to this area here to synchronize the extra layer security, I would probably recommend Authenticator. But as your account grows with Binance, they need to be able to verify you somehow. And the only way to do that is through authentication. But if you have small amounts, I think the Authenticator from Google is an okay way to do it. So what you do is you download it, and then as you walk through the Binance, it'll give you a QR code again. QR codes are pretty well the way of the future, it looks like, obviously. And then what you do, and then at the same time, it will give you this recovery number. And you have to write this down or something to secure it. Because as it says here, resetting your Google authentication requires a support ticket that takes at least 7 days to process. So you got to make sure that you write down these crossed out numbers and secure it somewhere on a piece of paper or something. And at the same time, allow the authenticator, the Google Authenticator, that app, to scan this this QR code from Binance. Once that's done, you now get this little countdown, and it's going to ask for the authentication code, which will be found, as I shown earlier, here. So you got to load the app up and be able to know what that current number is, and then plug it back into to confirm that you've done it, as another way to authenticate yourself through your phone, and be able to authenticate that through Binance. Okay, so I'm just walking you through it. I'll give you some links showing you how to do that, but we shall move on and continue. Okay, so moving from there, you now have your authenticator synchronized and all that. Okay, so now you have all your wallet, and you can deposit now that you've been somewhat authenticated. So what will happen is you come under here looking for deposit under funds, and then from there you click on this deposit, and it'll ask you for what cryptocurrency you want. You probably want, I don't know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever you want. It'll give you the current, and then it'll also give you this address. Obviously, no one's going to be able to remember that. So all you have to do is really just show the QR code. And again, this is on Binance.com when you're about to deposit. So once you have your QR code, you can go back to your Coinami app, your wallet, and then what you do is just click on send, and then it'll ask for the address as it does here. But what you can do instead of that, you can press scan the QR code and scan that same code, the same QR code that you found by showing QR code on your screen or whatever. And then on the phone, you send and you scan that QR code into your phone, and that will transfer whatever's from your digital wallet on Coinami into Binance. And then what will happen, took me 15 minutes, and it'll run through the blockchain process and eventually make its way into the Binance server, and then it'll show up in your account. It's pretty good, and I can vouch for it. It's pretty secure and safe. And after doing it, it really raised my confidence. And as I said, this is the future. There's no doubt about it. There's no third-party need and verification and supplying all your usual crap. Hopefully, I'll help you out. Talk to you later.